Hello everybody, let's wash away the worst movies of 2016. And now let's go into the top 10 best movies of 2016. This was sort of hard to decide, because at first I was like, oh, there wasn't that many great movies this year, but there was. Because I went through my list and I was like, actually, there was. I didn't get to see every single thing this year, but I did see a lot. And I saw the things that I really wanted to see. So let's just go through the mentions first. The mentions, I'm not going to talk about why they're mentions, we're just going to go through it quickly. And in the comments we can talk about why they're mentions. So let's get into this. Hell or High Water, Captain America Civil War, Keanu, Cuba and the Two Strings, Southbound, The Conjuring 2, The Neon Demon, Star Trek Beyond, Finding Dory, Pete's Dragon, Don't Breathe, Hunt for the Wilder People, Imperium, My Scientology Movie, Bo Burnham, Make Happy, and Midnight Special. I know Bo Burnham, Make Happy isn't really a film, it's stand-up, but it was still, the cinematography on that made it a film this year. Okay, let's get in to the top 10. There may be films on here that you thought were the worst. That's fine with me. This is my top 10. Once again, it's my opinions. If you don't like them, that's fine. If you like them, we're mates. We're good friends. Let's get into this. In at number 10 is Swiss Army Man. Swiss Army Man was a weird one. It was a film that a lot of people loved and hated this year. Daniel Radcliffe played a corpse, and Paul Sano, why have I forgotten the other actor's name? That's good. They're both on an island, and the corpse could do a lot of things. It was weird. The corpse was farting a lot. It was doing weird stuff, but then when the film gets into it, it's this really fun, silly, over-the-top film that I just had a lot of fun with. It's weird. It's really fucking weird, but it's the sort of weird that I really love, and Daniel Radcliffe just playing a corpse was great. I absolutely loved Swiss Army Man. In at number 9 is Asperger's Are Us, which is now on Netflix. You need to watch it. It's fantastic. It's about a comedy troupe of people with autism. They all have Asperger's, and they're a sketch group. And for me, this was something from doing stand-up now. I connected to it really well. I loved everyone in it. Everyone is fantastic in it, and I've been watching the new sketches they've done recently. They're just brilliant. They're brilliant people, and Asperger's Are Us is one of the best documentaries of this year about people with autism, and you need to check it out. I just loved so much about Asperger's Are Us. That's why it's number 9. In at number 8 is Train to Busan, I'm sorry, which was a Korean film about the father and daughter who have to get a train to that place I just said. But while they're on that train, an infected woman gets on, and then there's zombies on the train. It's mental, it's emotional, there's funny moments as well. And the choreography of the zombies is brilliant. Like, you can tell that these people are sort of dancers, and they also know how to move their bodies. It's crazy, absolutely crazy, the things that they do. But this film is absolutely fantastic with everything that it does. And I love Train to Busan, and that's why it is number 8. In at number 7 is Arrival. I've seen Arrival twice now. And there's things in, like, the second time, it was really good to see it a second time, because there's things in the film that, in the second time seeing it, you hear things and things that people say that really connect to things later on in the film. It's a film that Denis Villeneuve has done a fantastic job. I've loved every single one of his films, and Sicario is one of my favourites of last year, and this is another one of my favourites of this year, because it's just fantastic. Arrival is a sci-fi. There isn't really like any other sci-fi we've had before that's very creative, very interesting, very moving, and really has a lot going for it with fantastic cinematography. And I just really, really loved it. And I need to get a third view, because I feel like I'll see even more things on a third view, because that's what Denis Villeneuve does with his films. They are films that make you think. In at number 6 is Deadpool. I know this is another film that a lot of people were mixed on, but it did get very good reviews as well. Ryan Reynolds' as Deadpool was fantastic. It was just really, really fun. The violence, the fighting. It just brought everything that should have been in, like, the X-Men films, and that should have been in the Marvel Universe. I know it's not in the Marvel Universe, but it's just, Ryan Reynolds was hilarious. It was very funny. I know it may have had some generic story things to it, but I overlooked those because it was just fantastic. And with the Deadpool that I wanted, like, breaking the fourth wall, it was done fantastically. The special effects of Deadpool, the costume they'd made for it, Ryan Reynolds was the perfect pick. Perfect pick for Deadpool. And I just loved a lot about it. Like, I don't really have much to say about that bit, but it's on this list because I just loved it and had so much fun with it. In at number 5, it's Green Room, directed by Jeremy Saulnier. Green Room was a mental film, and I said the director name, I haven't said it on any others. I said the director name because he is a director that really knows how to make these crazy films, like his first film, Murder Party, and then Blue Ruin and Green Room, were all about amateur people that had to go up against something horrible, and just it went crazy for them. And Green Room is a film that was absolutely crazy. Anton Yelchin, rest in peace, like that was shit that he died this year, but he was fantastic in this. This film was crazy. It had so many unexpected moments for me. It just, a punk band have to go up against a bunch of neo-Nazis in a venue. And Patrick Stewart was also fantastic in it. He was this really horrible character that was leader of the neo-Nazi group, and it was harrowing, it was mental, and that character that Patrick Stewart did is one of the best performances I've ever seen from him, because it's just so disturbing, the character that he did, and I loved Green Room, and that's why it is number 5. In at number 4 is Zootopia, or Zootropolis. I just realised in my mentions I didn't do Moana. Moana was another film that I also did love this year. But yeah, Zootopia was fantastic. It had all these things talking about current things in the world, but it was also about just animals, and it was funny. The animation was beautiful. It had emotion to it. It was just lovely. There's not much I can really say about Zootopia, but I've done a review on it. But it was just everything that I've loved with Disney animation, and the characters were great. The voice acting was great. There was many funny moments, and there was just an adult themes to it as well that I didn't expect. And there was even like a horror thing in it, because it was like a virus in the monsters, and in the monsters in the animals. You could tell I really planned out this video today. I planned out the list. Didn't plan what I was going to say while I love these films. I just love Zootopia because I did. I'll just say that. It was a great animation. Fantastic animation. We'll just do that. In at number 3 is 10 Cloverfield Lane. I didn't expect a sequel like this to Cloverfield, but John Goodman and... why do I always forget actors' names? Mary Elizabeth Winstead. John Goodman and Mary Elizabeth Winstead and John Gallagher Jr. were all great in this film. This film was disturbing. It just kept me on the edge. And it was rated a 12A. A 12A, and there's something that happens in it. I'm not going to spoil it for people. I spoiled stuff in my worst thing because I don't want people to watch these films, but in the best, I want you to go and watch these films. 10 Cloverfield Lane has a disturbing moment which I didn't expect to see in a 12A. I think it's a PG-13 in America, but it was mental the moment that they do. This had me on the edge the whole time. The soundtrack was brilliant. The sound design was fantastic. Fantastic. I'm saying that a lot about these films, but this was just brilliant. Like right from the start, it was crazy. And then you're just on the edge throughout the whole film. You don't know what's happening. You're thinking one thing, thinking another thing, and then just something happens, and you're like, "Fuck! Didn't expect this right now." It is brilliant. 10 Cloverfield Lane is just, that's why it's number 3. In at number 2, we've got 2 documentaries on this list about autism. Life Animated. Life Animated is the story of Owen Suskind. I went and saw this at a university I've seen it twice now. Then I went and saw this at some university a couple of weeks back. Owen Suskind was there. It was brilliant to see him in person and sort of connect with the film even more because of the Q&A after. Life Animated is about Owen Suskind. He has autism, and from a young age he wasn't able to really talk, and Disney films helped him talk. Just from learning the dialogue, that was how he began talking, and his parents talking it with dialogue from the film, so he would talk back. It's a beautiful, beautiful tale and a beautiful story, and just Owen Suskind is hilarious and has a massive heart, and this is another film that also opens up more and has helps people understand autism even more. And I just loved so much about Life Animated. Even on the second time, I was so emotional towards the film, and I just loved it just as much as the first time. Life Animated is like, I'm so glad that that they've made films about autism this year that I've been able to connect with as someone with autism. And it was beautiful, this film, that I could connect to it, and it raises awareness to autism also. Well done to people that are making these films, and also well done to Asperger's and Life Animated for also showing that autistic people also just like all of us, and they do have their different ways of viewing the world, but they also can just live their lives normally. So yeah, Life Animated, number 2. In at number 1, I only saw it last night. Maybe it's because I'm like so excited about it, but Rogue One is number 1. Rogue One was just incredible. It was everything that I loved about the old films. It had the old vibe from all the old films. It just had an old vibe to it that reminded me of everything that I loved about the original films. It sort of starts out and you're like, oh, I don't know what's going to happen. It's sort of like dragging a little bit, and then something happens, and it just turns into a brilliant prequel. It's awkward when a prequel is better than the 3 prequels that George Lucas did. Sorry to people that enjoy those prequels. I don't, but Rogue One was fantastic. It fits so well into the universe, the Star Wars universe now. I loved all the characters. I loved the story. I loved the things that they did to connect with the old films. I just loved everything about this. Sort of loved it. Rogue One, a Star Wars story. Gareth Edwards has brought us, like, there's also music in it that also reminded me of Godzilla, because he is the director of Godzilla, but he really has made a fantastic Star Wars movie, and one that was definitely for the fans of the old films. Just from the look of it, just from the things they do. There's even like one part where they're zooming into the ship, and it doesn't look like it's made of Lego, but it's just the practical effects in this film as well. There's so much stuff that doesn't look CGI. There's a character that is CGI in it, and it wasn't until a little bit later on I was like, he's dead, that guy, in real life. Like, how have they got him in this? But the CGI didn't really put me off. It looks really fucking good. And the end of the film, there's a CGI thing, but it just looks really good. There's nothing, like, no CGI that's really noticeable in this film, and it's just fantastic. And the finale of the film is mind-blowingly brilliant. That's my top 10 best movies of 2016. I saw a lot of stuff this year. It was sort of hard to decide on this list, and then I was like, what stuff really did I enjoy the most? What stuff did I connect with the most? What had me smiling the most in the cinema? 10 Cloverfield Lane didn't have me smiling, but it had me enjoying it. Like, afterwards, I remember just thinking about it for ages. These are films that made me think about them afterwards for ages. So, in the comments, what were your favourite films? Say what your favourite films of 2016 were. Did you like any of these films on this list? Am I wrong for liking these films? Let's talk. Let's talk about it. Thanks to everyone that watched my worst list. I finished work today. I'm off for 8 days now, I think, or even longer than that. I'm not back to work until the 3rd of January. So I'll be getting out lots of stuff, and get excited for what I got for Christmas 2016, the video that I do every single year. I don't do it 2016 every single year, I just, what I got for Christmas every single year. I'm just babbling on. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much, and I will see you all again very, very soon. Goodbye.